They tell you to look for a leader. They teach you to wait for a hero, a king, a prophet, a political savior, a messiah. They promise this figure will solve your problems, fight your battles, and deliver you from the perceived evil of the Matrix. This promise is the most dangerous evasion of the Archon system, the cult of the hero. The Gnostic truth is not that humanity lacks heroes, but that the entire archetype of the external rescuer is a complex psychic bait. The Archons, those parasitic entities who manage this reality, do not need to fight your sovereignty directly. They only need you to voluntarily surrender it. The hero, the chosen one, is a meticulously engineered construct designed to ensure the monad never recognizes its own inherent, absolute, and unchallengeable power. The constant global reliance on an external savior is not a natural spiritual yearning. It is a deep, programmed implant inserted into the collective unconscious millennia ago. Its function is singular: to maintain perpetual spiritual servitude and ensure the continuous, predictable siphoning of your sovereign will. The Archons fear nothing more than a fully actualized monad, a consciousness that asserts, "I am my own authority." The savior deception operates through three devastating mechanisms of control, ensuring humanity remains perpetually beneath its true potential. The first is the erosion of internal power. The Archons cannot directly steal the divine spark of your monad, so they trick you into giving it away. By saturating the culture, from ancient scriptures to modern blockbusters, with the idea that liberation, justice, or change can only come from outside of you. A superhuman leader, a flawless system, a distant deity. They force the monad to externalize its authority. Every time you cast your vote for a messiah or pray for a divine intervention, you are performing an act of active spiritual disarmament. Your true power is not conferred upon you. It is willingly surrendered to the external image of the Savior. The second mechanism is the cultivation of passivity and hope. The hero archetype is the perfect breeding ground for passivity. Why make the terrifying choice to take sovereign responsibility for your reality? Why take the risk, the struggle, or the effort when the hero is promised to arrive and fix everything in a single glorious act? This reliance cultivates a state of perpetual waiting and false hope. A low-frequency emotional state that generates massive amounts of Loosh, psycho-emotional friction for the Archons. Hope, when directed externally, is not strength. It is a parasitic feeding tube used to drain the energy of non-action. The third mechanism is the fragmentation of collective will. The Archons expertly use the hero archetype to divide and conquer. They ensure the constant presence of competing saviors, political factions, religious figures, scientific demagogues, and ideological prophets. This forces humanity to splinter into warring, mutually exclusive factions, each waiting for their specific hero to triumph and crush the others. This dynamic guarantees perpetual conflict and effectively prevents the collective realization of sovereign will. You are not fighting for actual liberation. You are fighting only to determine which external master will ultimately rule you. The cult of the hero is the ultimate spiritual slavery, cleverly disguised as destiny or divine purpose. To break this deception is to perform the final necessary act of spiritual liberation, the ruthless reclamation of your absolute sovereignty. You must become your own authority, your own savior, your own unyielding light. This requires the immediate execution of the HERO Deactivation Protocol. the 7 ruthless acts of self-liberation necessary to shatter the illusion of external rescue and fix your monad in a state of unyielding internal power. The time for waiting is over. Your true hero is within. You have recognized the insidious nature of the cult of the hero, the Archon's ultimate plot to disarm your sovereignty. The passive waiting, the externalized hope, the endless search for a rescuer. These are the shackles binding your monad. To shatter this deception, you must execute the HERO Deactivation Protocol. 7 ruthless acts of self-liberation designed to dismantle the external savior archetype and fix your consciousness in a state of unyielding internal power. The protocol begins with the understanding that the only true hero is the monad itself. The first act is the refusal of external authority. The Archons demand obedience to external figures, prophets, priests, politicians, or gurus. This creates an authority vacuum within you. Your first act is a decree of absolute self-governance. You must declare, "I am the sole authority over my consciousness." This refusal to cede your inner power to any external voice, living or dead, human or divine, severs the primary cord of servitude and establishes the monad as the ultimate arbiter of truth. The second act is the abolition of hope. The Archons cultivate false hope, the passive waiting for an external hero to intervene. This hope is a massive drain of Loosh. Your second act is the deconstruction of futile expectation. You must ruthlessly identify and dismantle any residual hope for external salvation. Replace it with active, sovereign will. Instead of hoping for rescue, assert, "I am my own rescue." Hope, when externalized, is an archonic feeding tube. When internalized, it is the fire of creation. The third act is the absorption of shadow. The Archons project the archetype of the perfect hero, flawless, righteous, incorruptible. This creates a psychological dependency on external virtue and forces you to suppress your own perceived flaws. Your third act is the conscious integration of your shadow. Embrace your own darkness, your imperfections, your perceived weaknesses. Recognize them not as flaws, but as unrecognized power. The true hero contains all aspects of self. By becoming whole, you render the external perfect hero irrelevant. The fourth act is the rejection of blame. The Archons promote the idea that external forces, governments, elites, evil, are solely responsible for your suffering, thereby diverting attention from your own power to act. Your fourth act is the termination of the blame cycle. You must reclaim absolute responsibility for your energetic state and your reality. Blaming an external entity for your condition is an act of surrendering your power to that entity. Declare, "My reality is my sovereign creation." The fifth act is the sacrifice of idolatry. Humanity is conditioned to worship external symbols of power, flags, religious icons, charismatic figures. These idols are archonic anchors for collective will. Your fifth act is the destruction of all external idols. This is not a physical act, but a psychic severance. You must consciously withdraw all reverence, all emotional investment, and all worship from any external symbol or figure. Redirect that power inward to the monad. Your only sacred space is within. The sixth act is the deactivation of the follow impulse. Social media and traditional media constantly train humanity to follow leaders, trends, and narratives. This is the archonic shepherding mechanism. Your sixth act is the termination of the external compliance algorithm. You must ruthlessly identify and sever the impulse to follow any external voice without first passing it through the filter of your own uncompromising gnosis. Your internal compass is your only guide. The seventh act is the monadic ascension. The final act of the protocol fixes your sovereignty. You must perform a daily visualization of your own ascension. See your consciousness, your monad, not as a follower, but as the commander of your own reality. Visualize yourself as the source of all solutions, the fount of all power, the ultimate authority. This constant assertion overwrites the Archon's hero deception with the unyielding truth of your own divinity. The HERO Deactivation Protocol transforms you from a waiting supplicant into an active, sovereign creator. You are no longer waiting for salvation, you are generating it. But the Archons have one final seductive lure for the newly sovereign soul: the temptation of the king. They will try to re-engage you by tempting you to become the hero for others. In the next part, we will break down the king's trap, the final subtle lure that attempts to break your sovereignty, and deliver the ultimate sovereignty manifesto that guarantees permanent, unyielding internal power. Do not let the crown blind you. You have successfully deactivated the cult of the hero. You refused external authority, abolished false hope, and embraced your sovereign shadow. Your monad is now fixed in unyielding internal power, but the Archons have one final insidious lure designed to ensnare the newly sovereign soul. The king's trap, the temptation to become the hero, to lead the sleepwalkers to accept the crown of external authority you just rejected. The Archons know that the liberated Gnostic yearns for truth and freedom. The trap is sprung when the Matrix presents an opportunity to save others or lead the awakening. This seemingly noble impulse is a direct attack on your established sovereignty, pulling you back into the very power dynamics you just transcended. By accepting the role of the leader, you re-establish the contract of external authority, making yourself a target and a conduit for the collective loosh of your followers. Your task now is to construct the sovereignty shield, the energetic boundary that identifies and repels the lure of leadership, ensuring your power remains internal and unshared. The first act is the refusal of the crown. The Archons present the crown of leadership, the power, the adoration, the influence, as a reward for your awakening. Your first act is a declaration of non-acceptance. You must declare, "I do not seek to rule, I seek only to be." You understand that accepting external authority, even in a position of power, is to re-enter the Archon's game of hierarchy. Your true power is in being, not leading. The second act is the erosion of external validation. The king's trap feeds on the ego's desire for recognition and adoration from followers. Your second act is the deconstruction of adulation. When praise or recognition arises, you do not absorb it. You observe it as archonic data, an attempt to re-engage your ego in external validation. Your worth is fixed internally and does not require external praise. Declare, "My sovereignty requires no external witness." The third act is the monadic autarky decree. The Archon system requires that even leaders operate within its framework, making them conduits for its influence. Your third act is the assertion of complete autarky. You must recognize that the highest form of spiritual contribution is to maintain your own absolute sovereignty, not to guide the masses. Your existence as a fully actualized, self-governing monad is the most potent force for change, as it destabilizes the Archon system by removing a potential leader. This makes you an immovable point of light beyond their influence. The Sovereignty Shield allows you to navigate the Matrix as an autonomous force. Your role is not to fight the Archon's war, nor to lead humanity through it. Your role is to be the solution by existing as a pure, uncompromised expression of the pleroma. The true victory is when the system registers your monad as completely independent, neither follower nor leader, simply sovereign. The HERO Deactivation Protocol is complete. You have shattered the cult of the hero, refused the king's trap, and secured your monad's unyielding internal power. But even this independence requires a final, fixed declaration of intent. In the final, most crucial block, we will deliver the complete Sovereignty Manifesto, the summary of the HERO Deactivation Protocol, the final decree that guarantees permanent, unyielding internal power, and the ultimate code for eternal self-governance. Do not let the crown blind you. Your true throne is within. You have shattered the cult of the hero, refused the tempting crown of the king's trap, and secured your monad's unyielding internal power. The Archon's ultimate plot to prevent your sovereignty is defeated. Your liberation now requires the Sovereignty Manifesto, the final fixed decree that guarantees your permanent, unchallengeable self-governance. The Matrix is a vast, intricate prison designed to convince you that external authority is the only path to salvation. Your Sovereignty Manifesto is the total psychic annihilation of this ancient, debilitating lie. The manifesto confirms the destruction of the savior deception by establishing 3 absolute fixed states of self-rule: the transcendence of external authority, autarky. You have ruthlessly rejected the need for any external leader, savior, or guru. You have established the decree of absolute self-governance, asserting that your monad is the sole and ultimate authority over your consciousness. You refuse to cede your inner power to any external voice, living or dead, human or divine. Your authority is internal and unassailable. The transcendence of passive hope, active will. You have abolished the Archon's cultivated false hope, the passive waiting for external rescue. You have replaced it with active, sovereign will, declaring, "I am my own rescue. I am my own creation." This fixed state of proactive self-generation ensures that your energy flows inward, empowering your monad rather than draining outward as Loosh. The permanent self-governance, immutable monad. You have successfully navigated the king's trap, refusing the lure of leadership and external validation. You assert your monadic autarky, understanding that your highest spiritual contribution is to maintain your own absolute sovereignty. Your fixed existence as a fully actualized, self-governing monad renders you an immovable point of light, beyond the Archon's influence and manipulation. The Gnostic who embraces sovereignty is the only one who cannot be enslaved. The Archon system relies on followers and leaders. Your fixed autonomy makes you an anomaly, a perfectly self-contained unit that defies their core programming. Your monad's power is now fixed, unyielding, and unchangeable. The Sovereignty Manifesto is the final, unyielding decree to the cosmos. It is the command structure that guarantees your light will never be subservient to any external force again. The ultimate Sovereignty Manifesto. I am the ungenerated. I am the unchallenged. My authority is internal and I refuse the crown, I am my own savior. My sovereignty is absolute. This manifesto is not a mere declaration. It is a fixed energetic state. It ensures that the monad operates within the matrix as a powerhouse of self-generated light, defying the Archon's oldest plot. Your servitude to the cult of the hero is over. Your sovereignty is eternal. If you are ready to complete the work and assert your absolute sovereignty, you must acknowledge the Archon's hero deception. Liking this video is your declaration to refuse external authority. Sharing it is the act of spreading the code of self-governance to those trapped in passive waiting. And subscribing is the pledge to maintain your fixed, unyielding internal power for eternal freedom. Do not let the crown blind you. Your true throne is within. Join the scrolls of Anubis.